Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's first English Pro Case Studies podcast. In this podcast, we're going to learn English through real stories, real people, businesses, history, sports, and professional situations. And our first episode, we're staying right here in Peru. Today, we're looking at the story of Club Universitario de Deportes, one of the most famous football clubs in the country. You may know the club simply as Universitario, La U, or Los Cremas. But how did this club begin? And how did a group of young students in Lima create a football club that would eventually become one of the most successful teams in Peruvian football? Let's find out. Our story begins in Lima in 1924. On August 7th of that year, a group of young students came together and founded a football organization called Federación Universitaria de Fútbol. Many of these students were connected to the Universidad Nacional Mayor de San Marcos, as well as other educational institutions. At this point, nobody could know what this group of students would eventually become. The organization was created not only around football, but around the idea that sport could help develop young people and build a sense of community. The club played its first recorded match on October 19, 1924 against YMCA, winning 2-0. The team was very young, but its ambitions were growing. During the first years and the following years thereafter, Federación Universitaria participated in university tournaments and friendly matches. The team gradually attracted attention. In 1928, it was invited to participate in Peru's top football competition. And in 1929, the club won its first national championship. This was an important moment. The organization that had started with a group of students was now competing and winning at the highest level of Peruvian football. In the early 1930s, the club also welcomed one of the most important figures to its history, Teodoro Fernandez Meizan, better known as Lolo Fernandez. Lolo would become a legendary figure for Universitario and one of the most important footballers in Peruvian football. Over the decades, Universitario continued to grow. The club won national championships and developed a strong identity. Its supporters became known for their loyalty, and the team became one of the major forces in Peruvian football. But the story of Universitario isn't only about trophies, it's also about identity. A football club can be more than an organization that plays matches. For many supporters, it represents family, tradition, memories, and belonging. And that is one reason why football clubs can become so important in society. Now we come to one of the most important moments in the history of Universitario. In 1972, the club reached the final of the Copa Libertadores. This was historic. Universitario became the first Peruvian club to reach the final of South America's most important club competition. Its opponent was Independiente of Argentina, a club with enormous experience in international competition. The first match was played in Lima. More than 45,000 spectators attended the game at the Estadio Nacional. The match ended 0-0. The second match was played in Avellaneda, Argentina. Universitario lost 2-1. The club did not win the title, but reaching the final was an extraordinary achievement. Even today, the 1972 Libertadores campaign remains the best performance by Universitario in the competition. Universitario continued competing at the highest level of Peruvian football. Over the years, it won numerous national championships and developed generations of important players. According to the club's official history, Universitario has won 26 national titles, making it the club with the most national championships in Peru. The club also established itself as a regular participant in international competitions. And in 2026, Universitario continues to compete in the Copa Libertadores more than 100 years after those original students created the club in Lima. Think about that for a moment. A group of students created a football organization in 1924. More than a century later, that organization is still competing at the highest level. That's more than a football story. It's a story about organization, identity, leadership, tradition, and long-term success. Let's stop for a moment and look at 3 useful English words from today's story. The first one, to found, means to create or establish an organization, company, institution, or city. Let's look at an example sentence. The club was founded in 1924. You can also say, the company was founded by 2 engineers. An achievement is something important that you succeeded in doing. For example, reaching the Libertadores final was a major achievement. And lastly, winning an international contract was a major professional achievement. Legacy. A legacy is something important that a person or organization leaves behind for future generations. An example, Lolo Fernandez left a lasting legacy at Universitario. You can also talk about a company's legacy. The company has a long legacy of innovation. Now it's your turn. Let's see how carefully you listened. Let's look at the first question. When was Universitario founded? 1914, 1924, or 1934? Please write your answer in the comments. Let's move on to the second question. What was the club originally called? Club Universitario de Lima, Federación Universitaria de Fútbol, Club Deportivo San Marcos? Put your answer in the comments. Question number 3. Who did Universitario play in the 1972 Copa Libertadores final? A. Boca Juniors, River Plate, or C. Independiente? Write your answers in the comments. Now let's do some discussion questions. Let's go beyond the facts. Imagine you're discussing this story with another English speaker. Why do you think football clubs can become such an important part of people's identity? Second question. What do you think is more important for a football club? Talent, money, leadership, or tradition? Question number 3. Universitario began with a group of students. Do you think a small organization can still become a major institution today? Why or why not? And that's the story of Universitario, at least the beginning of a story that has continued for more than a century. Remember, the goal of English Pro case studies isn't simply to memorize vocabulary. It's to learn English by exploring stories, ideas, people, businesses, history, and real-life world situations. So how did you do? How many of the 3 questions did you get right? Put your answers in the comments. And if you enjoyed this episode, join me for the next English Pro case study. Until then, keep learning, keep listening, and keep speaking English. Vamos!